Hey everyone, Troy Hurd with the Cedar Creek Dulcimer YouTube channel. We're going to do a quick little tutorial on how to play the chords and the melody for my arrangement on the dulcimer of Neil Young's classic hit, Harvest Moon. And then as a little bonus at the very end of the video, there's going to be a dulcimer karaoke version where you can play right along with my recording. Since the melody on this song is fairly simple and straightforward, I'm going to just quickly play through the tabs for the verses and the chorus. Then we're going to move on and spend most of the lesson learning the chords and the chord embellishments. Now, for those of you who are not interested in playing the chords, after you take your screenshots of the melody tabs and get a little practice in, you can move on and fast forward to the karaoke version at the end of this video and play right along with my Dulcimer Band. Now let's get into learning our chords and our chord embellishments for this song. The first chord we're going to learn is that iconic chord and rhythm that not only starts the song off, but then it plays through a large portion of the song as well. So once you have this first chord progression done, you pretty much got the song figured out. Now, the first thing I want to do is just show you the notes that we're going to be playing, and then we'll work on the rhythm to finish it off. So we're going to start off at the 4th fret on the 1st string, the 2nd fret on the middle string, and the 4th fret on the bass string. And we're going to give it 2 strums at this position. Then, while these 2 fingers hold the chord, we're going to move our first note up to the 5th fret and give it 2 more strums. Let me do that again. Okay, now we're going to move our first note up to the 6.5 fret. And here's where the strumming pattern changes a bit. Instead of strumming on the first beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, we wait until the 2nd and 3rd beat to strum, making both strums towards us as we're doing it instead of strumming away or doing a back and forth motion. So it's going to sound like this. Then what I like to do is on that last beat, the 4th beat of the measure, I like to do a 1 and version before we move on back to our main part of the chord and do it all over again. Okay, before we move on and learn our next chord, I'm going to play through this pattern one last time, and this time I'm going to count out the strums as we're going along, and I'm going to go at a nice slow tempo. So we start off 1, 2, then 3, 4, then 2, 3, and 4, and. So here it is again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4, and. Now let me speed it up one more time just so you get the feel of what it's like. Now the next little chord embellishment is going to be the minor chord that brings us into the first verse. And it starts here at the 8th fret on the 1st string, the 5th fret on the middle string, and the 7th fret on the bass string. That's the actual minor chord. However, there needs to be 4 notes that chime out when we play that, and we only got 3. So our 4th note is going to be played on the bass string, and it happens to be at the 5th fret, just right across from our middle string. So what I like to do is, even though I'm not playing it right off the beginning, I like to hold them both down at the same time, and then I chime out those notes. Then to play that note, instead of lifting up and plucking, I like to do the pull off, where I pull this finger off and let it pluck it, and it gives it a little more of a chimey sound, I think. Let me do that again. One more time. There we go. Now, when we actually break into the verse, it just starts off with this simple minor chord. The 5th fret here, the 3rd fret there, the 5th fret there. And we just play that minor chord while the verse is being played. And then this time, here's where our second little chord embellishment comes in. On the first verse, instead of that progression like we learned at the beginning, instead of that progression, it's going to go like this. We give 2 strums here, so we're at the 4th, the 2nd, and the 4th there again. And it will be the 2 strums, and then the 2 strums once again, just like we did before. But this time, instead of going up, we go down to the 2nd fret with this 1st string. And I like to use my pinky when I'm doing it, so I don't have to do a lot of moving around. So it's going to look like this. And we're back to the 4th fret again. So that's the only variation that it has, is we go down to the 2nd fret instead of coming up to the 6.5. So let's do that. So we got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2, 3. Let's do that again. Okay, now for the 2nd verse, we start off with the same chord pattern, the 4th fret, the 2nd fret, the 4th fret, where we ended up. Now, instead of that little chimey intro like we did for the first verse, this time we're just going to slide into the note, which this time, instead of a minor chord, we go to a major chord. And that little slide in was just my way of trying to represent those backup singers who come in at that point of the song. So it would be like this. We're starting with that chord, the 4th fret, the 2nd, the 4th fret. This finger stays the same. The middle and the 1st string slide up to the next chord, to the 5th fret, to the 3rd fret, like so. Like that. That's all there is to it. So let's go back. Slide right into that note. And then we do it again. And then we go back into that first part, intro. And then back to the slide again, like so. Then we break into our chorus, which is what we're going to learn next. Okay, and finally we're going to learn the chords for the chorus. We start off with our minor chord here again, where we're at the 5th fret, the 3rd fret, the 5th fret. Then we're going to move up to do this chord up here, this major chord up here. So we're going to be at the 8th fret, the 6.5, and the 8th fret. So it's going to sound like this. And back to that minor chord again. This time we're doing the same chord as we did up here, but we're doing it at a lower position for a different sound. And that will be at the 4th fret here, the 1st fret on the middle, and the bass string. So let me go over that once again. Now we're going to go through it as far as the rhythms go on that particular portion of the course. Start right here, and I like to use a beat that's 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. So it'll sound like this. Now, you can use whatever rhythms seem to work better for you. Remember, this is your song. I'm just giving you the pieces of it, and you put it together however you choose to do so. Now, for those of you who want to learn that little bass line lead that I did in the song, here's how it goes. Pretty simple, straightforward, so nothing special about it. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, though, if you don't want to do the bass line lead, you can just do another verse to the song if you'd prefer. But for those of you who do want to do that bass line lead, here's how it goes. It starts on fret number 2. And then the second line goes like this. Like so. And then finally that last little ending piece. We start on the 4th fret, but we slide into the 5th fret, and then we're going to come down to the 1st fret. So it's going to be like this. Now use whatever fingers feel comfortable, like probably what I would like to use, start with my thumb, and then that way I got a good reach to reach right back down there to that 1st fret so it doesn't take too long. And you can slide into that 2nd note, or you can play it however, hammer on whatever sounds good to you.